got to know your role. And knowing your role is knowing the strength that you have and like how you bring that to whatever team you're on. So that's knowing your 1 and your 1A. So for like homework, you got to understand what's your 1 and what's your 1A and be real honest with yourself. The second thing is KYP. You got to know your personnel. Know who to get, know who to get the ball to, when to get them the ball, and where to get them the ball. And then the third thing is just what's your personal value level, right? Like what value do you bring to each situation that you're in? Now, because you can talk the basketball language and you understand things, again, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you do that, now it makes basketball so much easier. Because where everybody else trying to get in where they fit in, y'all are creating your own lane.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Coach Carvel Bailey, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Life and Basketball. And here on this show is where we talk about how the game of basketball as well as life are both synergistic and have so much in common. And on this show, we take athletes, former athletes, officials, former officials, coaches, former coaches, and those individuals that have been very influential and impactful to the game of basketball. And we just let them tell their story about how a little orange ball has oftentimes shaped as well as possibly saved their lives. And so the show is being brought to you by Bless the Ball Skill Development Academy. That's one, right, where we help student athletes get recruited, even if they're not a 5-star athlete. And the show is also being brought to you by Understanding Life Through the Game of Basketball, an effective guide to leadership and coaching. The show was birthed from this book. And so just like the book and the show, life is built off principles. And the game of basketball is built off those same principles. Some of the same principles because the game is synergistic. And when you can understand the principles that it takes to be successful in basketball, you will also understand some of the principles that it takes to be successful in this game we call life. And so I'll drop some links to where you can get this book. But before I do, I want to, I am totally excited. I'm totally excited to bring my guests up today. But before I do, I got one more video that I think fits what we do here. So take a look before we get into the interview tonight.
You'll win games, you'll lose games. And sometimes losses bring me to my knees where I don't want to get out of bed. But at the end of the day, I have to do what I do for my family and for these guys, to show them this is what a man looks like. And that's all that matters to me. Yeah, I want to win every game, but if I can give them something important to their lives and help them understand this is the truth. It might sting you a little bit, but this is the truth. But we can get to this point if we do these things. Because if you're not teaching them life lessons, what are you really teaching them? You're wasting their time. Eventually, they'll be somebody's father. They'll be somebody's husband. They'll run a company one day. So if they're not learning those lessons now, then I didn't do a good job in teaching.
So I hope that resonated. I hope that made sense, right? That's what our job as coaches here is to do. And that's what we do on this show. But I'm excited tonight to bring to the show someone that I've watched as a high school player, as a college player, and now as a professional. He's won and been successful each and every place that he's been for his fast. And as much of a volume scorer as he is that much more of a better person. Somebody that really understands the game of basketball. Somebody understands what it takes to lead a team to victory. And so tonight I am happy and excited to have this guest on the show tonight. So I want to present to some and I want to introduce to others my guy, Mr. Elliott Cole.
What's
EC,
up,
what up,
B?
man? How you feeling?
What's up, Coach B? How you doing? Everything's everything, man.
I'm doing yeah. So now let's jump right into it, right? So you are actually in Georgia right now. So it's about 6:30 a.m. right now. Something like that?
Yes, sir. It's 6:25 in the morning over here in Europe.
Man, Yeah, man. So one, I appreciate your time, for even, coming on here and me and you kind of talked and I said, hey man, you've been up, at the crack of dawn,
For sure,
with,
yeah.
with this whole basketball grind thing. So let's jump right into it, man. But before we talk about basketball, just tell the viewers tonight, just introduce us to who is Elliott Cole, the man.
I mean, I'm a family man. I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm a friend. My boyfriend. So it's like, I'm a man, a person outside of the game, but the game has shaped my life, and taught me things just about how to handle yourself within this world. And I think that's what sports does for people. It teaches you everybody's not going to be a professional athlete. Everybody's
Absolutely.
not going to play in college, but playing sports teaches you how to get through adversity and have camaraderie and work with people that you may not like. You know what I mean? To have one common goal and always focus on obtaining that one common goal, no matter what goes on.
Mm. Hey, that's tough, y'all. And I don't want that to zoom past y'all, right? So, one common goal to work with people that you may not like, camaraderie, like those are all life skills. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So if you can
yeah,
understand that on the basketball court, then those things just kind of carry over into everyday life, man. I love it.
for sure.
I love it. So let's jump right into it, because your story, I want it to be told and to be heard. Growing up, man, so talk to us about childhood. You grew up in the city of Chicago, right? So
Yeah,
talk to us about how did growing up in the city, I was on a meeting yesterday and I told somebody I was from the city, and the comment was like, be careful up there, right? Now, I don't know if they was talking about the weather, or I don't know if they was talking about just the perception,
yeah,
but, and I'm pretty sure that you may get that a lot, and you let people know that you from the Chi. But how
yeah.
did growing up in Chicago help mold you into the Elliott Cole that we now see today?
Yeah, like especially growing up, like 'cause I'm like a border kid. Like my dad stayed in the city. Like my parents, grew up in separate house homes. So my
Oh,
mother
okay.
was, on the outskirts of it, and then my dad was in the city. So I got like the best of both worlds. And
Yep.
like when you speak to outside people, and like when I went to college, it's like growing up in Chicago, you learn things fast and you grow fast a little bit because you have to be aware of your surroundings. Like
Yep.
I tell a funny story. I remember being in college and I'm leaving practice, and
Mm-hmm.
a car is following me, and I got a teammate in my car, and so a car is following me, but I notice it, and I don't think he does. So
Right.
I kind of pass my apartment, and I keep going, and I make a couple turns, and my teammate's like, "Man, where you going?" And I'm like, I could just tell he wasn't paying attention or aware
Yep.
or accustomed to being on in those situations
Yep.
to where you don't just go home. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, just always being aware. Like I find myself always knowing what's going on wherever I'm at. I always know my surroundings.
Mm.
And that's just
Mm.
growing up in Chicago.
Yep.
You
Yep.
got to be aware of where you at all times.
Yep. Now, that's I think that Beanie Siegel said it, and I want to say it's the Dynasty. I don't know which song, but talk about circle the block before,
Yeah,
what I'm
for
saying.
sure.
And it's
Yeah,
crazy, because I do it. When I
yeah,
pull into my, area, and as I'm coming around, if I see somebody pull in behind me, I'm coming
yeah,
off of Main Street,
for
but then I
sure.
make another turn. If you just so happen to turn that way, and then I make okay, at that point, now I'm gonna go around because I just want to see
Yeah.
if you following me. I
You
mean, that's
checking the
just,
mirrors. You
yeah,
checking the mirrors and
yeah,
seeing what's going on. Hey, you not just blasting and bumping your head to the music,
yeah, no,
And that's something you learn early.
you learn early, absolutely.
For
Now,
sure.
now, um, talk to me about how, and we gonna get into it, but at what point in your life did Elliott Cole really know, I can do this basketball thing? Like, I really like this basketball thing. Like, when did you get
Um,
like really introduced to it?
just being honest, like I've been playing basketball since I was 3 years old. and
Okay.
that's a tribute to like my brother, my dad, so
Yep.
especially growing up in Chicago, we Michael Jordan everything. My brother
Absolutely.
born in '86, so I'm more like a '90 baby. So I always grew up watching like the MJs, the Kobe's, the Allen Iversons.
Yep.
I'm that era of basketball. So
Right.
growing up, it was just that's what we did, and me and my brother have a bond that's like it's not like your typical sibling relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when I got in trouble as a kid, I got in trouble by my mother, my father, and my brother. You know what I'm saying? We 9 years apart. So yeah, man, we that's something that just created a bond between us. And
Yep.
getting in it early, it just taught me life skills. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Before I even noticed that I was good or better than others, you know what I'm saying? It was just something that I took serious and I
Mm.
gravitated to. So we learned lessons through that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, you said something, and you're old soul, and it's
Yeah, I
making,
get that a lot.
it's making sense to me, and I
Yeah.
always like to start here because I want people to really get a understanding of the
Mhm.
foundation of the person that we're talking to, right? So,
Yeah.
but when you said about you wasn't gonna not only get it from your mother and your father, but you was gonna
Yeah.
also get it from your brother.
For sure.
So that tells me that it was a lot of accountability. Like you had to be
Man, yeah.
accountable to a
Yeah.
lot of people. So talk about the importance, and in sports,
Mhm.
sometimes those accountability partners can be coaches, or hell, referees, because they gonna, keep you
Definitely.
from doing what you're not supposed to do. But
Mhm.
talk about the importance of having an accountability partner to kind of be to
Um,
push you back on that right
I
track.
think it's very important because especially, in Chicago, it's easily to get influenced on what's going on outside. 'Cause you have
Yep.
friends, everybody got somebody that's into something, you know? And but just having a good support system always gave me values and morals and like
Ooh.
especially growing up loving basketball so much, it was more of like my teaching tool. So yes, you love this and want to do this more than anything. So it gave you rules and regulations. If you want to do this, you got to take care of this. And I struggled
Absolutely.
with that at times, you know what I'm saying, especially with academically, early on. Like my time at St. Joe's. So it was,
Mm-hmm.
it just gave me principles. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You can't have
Yep.
one without the other. And
No, you
sometimes,
can't.
as an adolescent, you try to get over on things or slide on things. So for me, it was like I struggled academically with just being dedicated
Mm.
because sometimes, like I never played in grammar school. I always worked out. Like that's what kind of kept me, I always worked out. So as a kid, me and my brother were getting up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and this is the age of 6,
Right.
6, 7, 5. And I had a little room in my room. We doing push-ups. I'm running from closet to window. Like that was my work ethic early.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it kind of just taught me to be dedicated to something, but also having to still do your schoolwork. And when
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with that, mama took that ball away, you know?
Absolutely.
And
Mm-hmm.
it kind of gave you, like I said, a guideline, like, all right, man, if I want to do this, I still got to do this. And it just gave you values and showed
Mm-hmm.
you what's important. And it's more than just this ball because you ain't going to be able to do this forever. And it
You
wasn't
ain't
a
gonna be
guarantee. It's never a guarantee, no matter how hard you work, no matter how much effort you put into it. Because I mean, since I was just telling somebody the other day, or earlier today, like I used to get up 1,000 shots 3 times a day. Now of course I'm older, so now it's 3,000 shots 3 times a day. But like, and I'm giving that's a little secret. Don't tell too many people, but
right, right,
but
right,
it's like
right.
it started early. But it's like no matter how much you put into it, nothing's in this world a guarantee. So mama kind of instilled that of you still got to take care of them books,
Mm.
and that's
And you
that's
know
kind
what?
of.
Man, no, you dropping fire tonight, man. I hope as normal as always, y'all that's tuning in, let us know where you tuning in from. Share this broadcast tonight, but definitely make sure that you taking notes because, the knowledge just doesn't come from the coaches. The knowledge just doesn't come from the officials. the knowledge also comes from the players. And Elliott is dropping some knowledge tonight. You know, you talked about, man, you said that you know, you have values and morals, but you struggle academically because you weren't dedicated.
Sure.
You know, but you also talked about how mama taught you early that was not like nothing was a guarantee.
For sure.
So talk to us about those academic struggles. You know, I mean, this is, you know, let's talk to the
Man,
players
over,
tonight.
bro.
You know, it's, you know, virtual learning, man, and you know, I mean, it's you know, some students, you know, think it's sweet. You know, I think it's, you know, if you know what you're doing, it's cool. But you know, talk to us about not being dedicated. What got in the way of the dedication academically? You know, and as Mama said, if you can't be a student, I ain't gonna let you be an athlete, and they go together. So you know, talk about that. You know, for me, E.
It was just like, you know, like my mom, my dad always tell me, like, you gotta see it both ways. Like the effort you put onto this basketball court and into this basketball at the time, it was this basketball thing. You gotta put it the same effort and the same drive into school. You ain't gotta like it,
right?
But you gotta do it, and you gotta do it wholeheartedly, 100%. The same way you get up at the crack of dawn, and you know, my mom used to be like, the same way you know these rap songs, you need to know these math problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because, and it's not that one's harder than the other. Both of anything you encounter that's a task or has multiple stages, it's gonna be tough. You know what I mean? Whether from school or basketball. And the challenge was the same, but you enjoyed and you gave 150% into this challenge. If this is just because you didn't want to do it, you BS'd it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's really where the growth and the maturity comes in, because as you said, it's the same work, you know, and you know, I've never heard somebody say that quote, and I like it, and I'm gonna give you credit for it. You don't have to like it, but you got to do it. Well, it's the same way when you got to, you know, when that coach said baseline.
For sure.
No player likes to hear the word baseline.
You don't even gotta know what y'all did wrong. You just or like when I was in college, I had a teammate, he lost his practice shorts.
Okay.
And coach made us, man, he put 90 minutes on the clock. So we had suicide for every minute on the clock. And it just taught you respond. And this is when I'm a JUCO. You know what I'm saying? I'm a JUCO product. So it was like, we like, what's going on? And the only person that knew was the person who lost the uniform. You know what I mean? So it was just like that feeling of, man, you know what I mean? I don't want to do, but you ain't got no choice. You go home. But what you going home to? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The opportunity that you got, everybody don't get. And I understood that early. And I, like I said, I was blessed to have second chances, you know what I mean, to right my wrongs in just the amount of time, you know, because I feel like I'm one of them guys who just made it through the door, you know?
Yeah. No, that's good, man. You know, you say everybody don't get, you know, multiple opportunities, and that goes hand in hand with, it's not a guarantee, you know. And I really think, you know, understanding the way that you play, which is hard nosed, tough, and I don't mean tough like after somebody scored and they doing all this. I'm talking about tough in terms of going dive on the floor for the ball, going give up your body for the sake of whatever need to be done. I'm gonna guard him regardless how big he is, right? That kind of tough. And you know, you really can't teach that. But it makes sense to me now, because you understood that I might not get this chance again. And I think if more athletes understood that, they'll play with a whole different level of energy.
Demeanor.
Don't you agree? Yeah.
Because it's like, you gotta think, man, like it was two ways I thought about it. One is like you said, like I play every game like it's my last. And I got that growing up. Like everybody loves Michael Jordan. But like, and my brother was a Kobe Bryant head, Kobe Bryant fanatic. But for me, like growing up, like I remember like watching Allen Iverson or the All-Star games with Allen Iverson playing, and I'm in front of the TV like this. Halftime, I'm shooting on my rim and and I learned that from him, like especially being a small guy and he battling these big guys. And it wasn't that he was just a great player. Like he was at one point in time the greatest MVP. But I mean, you're the best player in the league, and this is a guy who's I'm looking at like he's me, like he's small, you know what I'm saying, but he's a killer. And it was like I learned that early, and it's just also like, especially when you trying to pursue this and go to school for it. And I'm fast forwarding a little bit, but when you learning that you're trying to go to school for this and do this for a career, it's like you may be playing in front of somebody who ain't never seen you play before, and this is gonna be the one time they ever get to see you play. So
The only time.
you don't have stuff, you know. Every time I go out there, you playing like this is the championship. You know what I'm saying? Or you playing like
And you know, to my athletes watching, you know, to my parents of athletes watching, like get your athletes to understand this. My coaches is watching. Get your athletes under. Elliott just said it. You don't know who's watching you. You can be at the park. You can be at the park district. Do you understand? Like there was a point in time with Jerry Tarkanian when he first got to UNLV. He was recruiting players out the Y. like he had to go. He was recruiting players out the YMCA. I believe he found Larry Johnson at the YMCA. Like, so you never know who's watching you. And, you know, as you said, so you got to be ready, man, to show and prove. So now, you know, for those people that don't know, you know, you're not grand in, you know, height, you know, and stature and all of that. You know, you've kind of been looked at as the underdog, you know, the little guy, you know, but that don't really stop you, you know. And, you know, I always form the title of the, you know, episode of the show based on who I'm talking to. And, you know, I, you know, the title of today's episode is A True Powerhouse, right? And that's like somebody that's going to bring it and bring it and bring it. But you also went to a school called Powerhouse, and that's when I first heard about you, you know. And now let's talk about that, man, because you know how that little orange ball oftentimes helped or saved somebody's life. Talk about that, because that's when I first heard the myth Elliott Cole, and they like, man, this dude is putting up 70, and I'm like, what? Who? Where? Like, talk about that, man.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm gonna get into something I really ain't really got into before, you know. But like at St. Joe's, you know, my freshman year, you know, I was ineligible the whole year. You know, I don't think a lot of people know that except in-house people. You know, I was ineligible the entire year. Sophomore year, I was eligible for 2-3 weeks, ineligible for the next 2-3. You know what I'm saying? And Ping would always talk, but in practice, because I used to go to all the St. Joe's camps. So I went there 2 years. I won the one-on-ones of the camp both years. So you know what I'm saying? Coach Ping knows me. Evan Turner's mom and my father kind of grew up and knew of each other. So that's kind of why I went to St. Joe's. You know, apart from my friends going there, but that was a main reason why I went there. And King would talk to me about, like, man, you got to get your grades together. And then my junior year, I got my grades together. And it was like I'm not talking about D's. I'm talking about mostly B's and maybe a couple C's. Like I really bust my butt. And me and that reconciled, you know, before he passed. So I'm grateful and thankful for that because I learned. But at the time, it was like he still wasn't playing me, and I'm in practice and like I'm killing the guys who he's actually playing in front of me, and like and I love like Avery Harmon and Reggie Johnson. Those are two of my guys, and at the time, like I learned a lot from them. Like not only because they were my friends, but they were the head honchos on the team and in the school because they were the seniors, or the juniors at the time, but they were the guys on the team. And they would even talk to Ping like, man, you gotta play him, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just he was trying to teach a lesson and get me to understand that I don't care how good you are out here. You know,
on the court,
exactly. You still got to take care of this. And once I started taking care of that, it was also, I understand now that he had already had guys who for 2 years was doing what he was asking. And I'm asking him to kind of double back for me. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't understand that until after we had a conversation, you know, after I came back and me and him talked. But like it was, I needed that because I didn't understand it at the time. But I'm thankful for that as well, because I'm thankful for that misunderstanding, because it got me to where I am. You know, it put me in a position to where, like, I had to make a decision. Like, yes, I love going to school here, but like my junior year, I transferred to senior year. Like, if I want to do this as a career or give myself a shot, you know what I'm saying? I had to get up out of there. So transferring, I worked out going into my, like, up to that point, I was, like I said, I was taking 1,000 shots. I was taking 1,000 makes 3 times a day. We had to click it. Every drill we did was calculated. So, you know what I'm saying? It was everything acclimated into itself. So, and then going to junior year, into my senior year, we switched up the workout regimens a little bit. Then went to 3,000 makes 3 times a day. And Coach Jermaine Johnson, I love him for life. He's family. His family's family. You know what I mean? Still to this day. He came and seen me work out, that summer. And that's where I went to transfer. A lot of people don't know I was going to transfer to Brooks. With Bobby Locke, because Bobby Locke and my pops grew up together. So it was gonna be me, Will Gates, and Eric Locke. So at the time, that was, because we could have made some things happen, but things fell through.
That was the team that went downstate, wasn't it? Wasn't that the controversial thing?
I think so. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
But we couldn't pull it through just from some, I guess some ISH things. But I ended up going to Powerhouse. And like I said, man, that changed my life. Just the opportunity to be me, and everything we had worked up until this point, it was just an outpour, and a lot of people don't understand that I wasn't playing against Marshall, Crane, or like I was playing against St. Joe's and Coach Pinkerton 99 out. So it was just like, y'all not fueling this. This is a 3-year fire that's been burning, and you just let it out. So like the first tournament we played in Sycamore, now Sycamore is a far outside. I never heard of Sycamore before I went to the tournament. We get to the gym, and one of St. Joe's assistant coaches, I see him walking in the gym into the stands. Now, you basically hit for him, because the Godfather don't never step. The Godfather don't step out himself, you know. So I took it personal. And Sycamore tournament, first game, I think I had 40. Next game, I think I had 42. Next game, like 47. Like, I broke their score. I broke the scoring record of the tournament, and the tournament has been around like 30 plus years. And in like 3 or 4 games or something, I had like 200 some points, something like that. So it was just like immediate. It was immediate success, but I've been working that same way for so long. And it was just like, the only difference was now the flashlight, and now you see what I've been doing in the dark. And I tell people a lot of times, you got to get comfortable with them crickets. Like, that's what creates the one with the lights on. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ain't doing it there, you're going to do it when it's time to dance. You know what I'm saying? It don't just happen.
Man, get comfortable with them crickets.
For sure, man. That's
a player's creed. Yeah. And Dame Lillard, right, said, and what did Dame say? Like, in order for you, if you want to look good in front of thousands, then you got to work out thousands in front of nobody. If you want to look good in front of thousands, you got to outwork thousands in front of nobody. And a lot of people don't, they only see the success when athletes get on the court, but they don't see all of the behind the scenes. So it makes sense now. My guy, Mike, Mike Williams that, played for me, like Mike told me about you and I heard, but it makes so much sense now. As you said, it was a 3-year fire. And it was almost like y'all let the dog out the cage, and I've been getting fed, and now I'm primed up. And so that just goes to show it's a quote that a lot of people say, right? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's easier said than done. Like you was in the gym 3 times a day, right? Let's take away the number of makes that you're talking about, but 3 times a day you in the gym. Most athletes aren't dedicated. Now this is senior year, right? But you still have been doing it because you've been playing since 3. But as you said, right,
the work
it
was
was
established early.
it was the same work, right? You
Yeah,
weren't dedicated in academics, but you was on the court.
yeah,
And as you
yeah.
said, you had to realize it.
Put it
It
together.
was the same work. You not
Yeah,
just had to put together the
yeah.
same way that you can get up and that you can go and, you know, to everybody that's listening, I want you to understand how intentional Elliott is with his conversation, with his words, because he said that, you know, at first he was talking about the shots, right? He was getting up a number of shots. What's the difference in being good, being great, and being professional and being like iconic? Just making small tweaks and twitches. So, Elliott, you went from number of shots 3 times a day to now number of makes. So, depending on how long you gonna be in the gym, that's on you.
Exactly. Like I said, I done been in the gym, especially like with I done been in the gym. I got out of there in an hour 30.
Yeah,
I'm on. But like I said, I mean, excuse my language, it's been some time with the gym to kick my ass. But
yeah.
then the days you get better. Like them
Them
the
the
days
days you get
when
better.
you
Yep,
tired of that ball bouncing away over there.
yep,
You know what I'm saying? And
yep.
sometimes who you rebounding for, like, hey, man, like, I'm tired of going to get this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And they make you lock in and you get
Yeah,
frustrated. And like, I was never the one to like throw the ball around the gym, but I would
yeah,
like I was hard on myself. I always held myself to a high standard because
yep,
like, you know what I mean? My brother did, my mama did, my dad did. So it's
yep.
like I'm mad at me, but it's like, hey, man, and Doug always told me this, like, a mad man can't do nothing right. Everybody
Can't
who
do
in
nothing.
prison, it was mad when they did whatever they did to get their ass over there. You know what I'm saying? So it
And it
was
took a
like,
split second. You know what I'm saying? You know,
yep.
it took a split second.
10 seconds could cost you 10
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
know,
But it was, yeah.
and you have to be aware
Mm-hmm.
of those things, right? But it goes back to what you said. That's why I spent time there. Your childhood,
Yeah.
you had your head on the swivel. You were aware. You're in the car with your college teammate from someplace else. He ain't paying attention to what's
Yeah.
going on, you know, surroundings and all of that. So, how much did that help you as a point guard, like understanding your
Oh, for sure.
surroundings?
For sure. Like, and for me, like, you know, I was always a scorer. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying? And I really learned how to be a point guard like in college. So,
yep,
but in high school, like I said, in high school, you can tell it's a level of difference. You know what I'm saying? So if
mm-hmm.
you can play and if you can play and really belong on the next level, like you're gonna see things before they happen. I'm gonna be able to put people in places. But like I watched a lot of like people don't understand. Like I was basketball, everything. Like birthdays, I'm in a gym. Y'all going to a party, that's cool. I'm in a gym. You know what I'm saying? Like people
Yep.
don't understand. My senior year at Powerhouse, man, I was taking my 6 classes at school and 2 online classes in New York, Spanish and something else, just so I can get what is it?
Qualified.
Eligible for
Yep.
and I
Mm-hmm.
was still in the gym before I went to school at Powerhouse.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like at
Yep.
Home Square, like that shit wasn't easy, man. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just love
Mm-hmm.
doing it. So it's like,
And you know what? Let me ask you a
yeah.
question, E. Did Powerhouse have a gym?
No, we only
That's what I
practice
thought.
maybe. Yeah, we
That's
only
what I thought.
practice maybe once or twice a week, like as a
That's
team.
what I
You
thought.
know
Yeah,
what I'm
that's what I
saying?
thought.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
like
what I thought. Because they like, man, this dude from Powerhouse is scoring numbers and they
we
ain't
got
even
no
got a
practice.
gym. They ain't even got a
Yeah,
gym.
like man, one time like we even had like because we had a girls team for a little minute. And but when we practiced, they would have one side of the floor and we would have the other. Like
Yep.
so you couldn't really get too much accomplished. And we was
Yep.
only in there about an hour 30. Cause you
About
know
an
you
hour
can't
30.
leave too late
Yep.
because we in the
Yep.
trenches. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so man, it was very challenging. Like I mean, we had some things, a lot of seen some things where it's like, you know, it
Yeah.
shaped you, you know.
So how was recruiting, you know, and you know, because I talk to so many parents, you know, with what we do, you know, with, you know, at bless the ball with our hoops mastery, you know, with our Be the Right recruit program, man. You know, we got, you know, I talk to parents all the time and they want their kids to score more. Well, you scored you scored a lot of buckets, a lot of points senior
Yeah.
year.
One
But how
season
was
I had
recruiting for you?
1,055.
1,055 points in
In
1
one
year.
season. Yep.
How was recruiting coming out of high
Um,
school for you?
Well, to be honest, like I received my first offer, my first attention. Yeah, my first offer from Western Michigan, like around my sophomore year. But I got a
Yep.
lot of my attention from AAU. Like I told you, like that was kind of my problem in a sense early, like because I mean, the homework wasn't getting done. So hey, I wasn't playing the same shows. When summertime coming around, I'm still at the same tournaments, the NY, the LA,
Yep.
the 64. I'm still out in Cali Bay. So it was like I was still able to, you know what I mean, get my turn. And that's kind of where I got my, acknowledgement. Like ALU kind of helped me out a lot,
Okay. Okay. Yep.
But like recruiting started, like I said, my sophomore year. I went down to Western Michigan for their little camp, stuff like that. And then it started picking up like my senior year. Like you said, powerhouse, like man, like I said, I was the number, I led the nation in scoring.
Yep.
Started off, I was averaging like 37. So the first couple games, I'm top 3 in the country.
Mm.
And me and Jug and my brother, we always like be cognitive of like kind of like helped me get to where I got because like it was
Yep.
gonna be tough winning. We in the Red West. We ain't finna win no championship. It ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
what I gotta do is we gotta keep this moment. We gotta keep this eye on us.
Mm-hmm.
And I never went out trying to score 100 points. Hell, I just had to for us to compete. You know what I'm saying? So,
Because
yeah.
now, hold your thought, E. Let's put it in perspective. Let's put it in
Mm.
perspective. This is when the Red West, right? This is when
Oh,
Orr had
yeah.
Greer, Lou
Yeah.
Adams, right?
Yeah.
Jamal,
Jamal.
Brandon. This one, Whitney Young had Okafor,
What?
and
Paul White.
like Paul,
LJP. They had players that
like,
wasn't from Chicago.
like, right,
Like,
like night in and night out in the Red
battle.
West. It was a battle, right? And you
Man.
got this little school powerhouse.
Yeah.
So you wasn't playing no cupcakes. All right. So I just
Not at
go
all.
ahead back to your thought, but I want the people to understand night in and night out, you were playing in arguably what could be one of the top 5 conferences in the country
Yeah, you had an NBA player damn near every night.
every
You know
night.
what I'm saying? Like we had Jared Sullinger and Coach K and them in Homer Square when we played with
Mm-hmm.
them in that
Yep.
little gym. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it was dope for me to because you gotta think the kids at Powerhouse, my teammates, like I got some brothers over there, some friends for life. You know now, but it's like they they weren't used to that experience. Like my senior year,
Absolutely.
like I was really like I got ESPN Channel 7 News like interviews, and they at our school door.
Yeah.
That's light shined on my teammates.
Yep.
That's and just who we got track students here who trying to get. We got like it just gave everybody an opportunity to
Yep.
make whatever you gonna make of it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yep.
So yeah, it was bigger than me, and I
Yep.
understood that. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I never
Yep.
tried like when I did interviews or like I had a little photo shoot or whatever. It wasn't just y'all gonna. I tried to bring my whole team with me. They had to
Mm-hmm.
tell me what we could only bring 1 or 2 guys. That's fine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna try
Yep.
to bring everybody with me.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And
Yep. Yep.
because it was like I said, it was bigger than me, man. It was an experience of a lifetime that they'll have for the rest of their life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're
Yep.
not like I'm still doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to them, that's some of the highlights of their lives.
And they can always look back on it and they can
Mm-hmm.
always say, yeah, man, we were there, we competed, we
And they
played
learned something too.
played in front of Coach K. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? How many people get to honestly say they had that opportunity,
Yeah.
and those are the things that teammates can do for other teammates. So now you are a product of JUCO.
For
What
sure.
led you to go to JUCO?
Academically, man. So I was talking to a bunch of schools. I had verbally committed to Chicago State. I was keeping my options open. Um, just because, like I said, I mean, the big schools like I had Bradley, they offered. I had Eastern Illinois, Grand Canyon, Purdue, which I'm too heavy. They was in the gym. I came to meet met
Mm-hmm.
with Coach Jug, and so we had some big name schools, but everybody was we love him, but we wanted to see what he does against them. We love him, we
Mm-hmm.
want to see what he does against Orr. And it was like, all right, like it was just like
Right.
I never was one of them guys who like I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon or go work out with these guys.
Yeah.
No, everything I've done was with my camp. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I know how we work over here. So it's
Right.
like y'all gonna put up the big names, and whoever y'all say good over there, that can't play for them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they doing on their time, but I'm getting in.
Right.
So it's time to roll them balls out. It was different. It just felt different. I felt
Yeah.
overly prepared. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a different attention to detail. It was a different you know what I mean, point to prove.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, I think that propelled me to, especially playing in Chicago in those environments. It was like
Yep.
you was prepared to play and whatever. So, but I had to go JUCO due to academics, and I was blessed to go to, you know, in JUCO you got the top two conferences or regions for JUCO is the Panhandle, which is in Florida, and
Yep.
Texas. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So I was blessed to go to Gulf Coast and
Yep.
Panama City. And we
Yep.
played against this, and I say that we played against Northwest Florida. They was number one in the country, and they was in our conference. Chipola, they had Sam Cassell
Chipola.
Jr.
Yep.
They had big names, Simeon Bowers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had a bunch of guys that was big
Mm-hmm.
names.
Mm-hmm.
So I was blessed to go play in that conference
Mm-hmm.
and end up winning
Hey,
freshman of the year.
I was gonna say you was freshman of the year, all
Yeah.
Panhandle, right?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Now, you know, people always talk about exposure. You know, we hear that buzzword, especially with AAU. You know, exposure. We got Coach Donald Choice in the building. Pooh man, what up? You know, we always hear about exposure. And you got to go play people in other states, other cities. So you go down to, you know, nice Panama City.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that experience in Florida. You know, talk to us about
Yeah, for sure.
the exposure kind of away from basketball. You know what I'm saying? You know, you still looking and you know, you got your head on a swivel, but now you go to Florida, it's a little bit different type of pace.
Yeah. One thing my mama always told me, you can't take Chicago with you everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I get down there, and you know I'm very defensive. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just, it's my instincts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking around and I'm just not open to things. Like it's different, man. You walking down the street, we going to the store, we walking with my teammates, we going somewhere. It's like usually one in Chicago, if you walking or mind your business, you not talking to anybody else on the street. And if you is, I advise you to keep it pushing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because you know, so at some point it's gonna be a situation. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But down
Yeah.
there, it was like when you're like, "Hey, how you doing?" It turned into a full conversation. I'm well. It was just it just wasn't normal to me. You know what I mean? The people actually cared about your well-being. They know you, or they
Yep.
still want to. They was interested on you as a person. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? It was just a different environment. Like people were genuinely nice. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You sitting in the car and people just like looking at you, and you normally like you don't know what type of vibe that
Got
is,
that
but then they
meme mug
wave.
on. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and they wave, and you know what I'm saying? And you like, man, what? And in your mind, like you like, I don't know what's this
Yeah.
weird. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so it
You
was
start
just,
to question yourself, man. Like, what's wrong with me,
yeah,
man? You know, how come I'm the mean guy? But yeah, no,
yeah,
that's dope. You know, and that you know, from and me, you know, coaching in Chicago, you know, at Malcolm X and at Truman, I used to always want kids to, you know, like stay home, man. You know, it's something good here too, but you know,
sure.
nothing can beat that experience. But as you said, that was a different type of exposure than just on the basketball court. On the court,
Yeah,
you knew what I'm gonna bring, but the other exposure, you know, had you not listened to your mama and you brought Chicago with you, you would have never been able to
yeah,
experience, right? When I mentioned Florida, and if you go back and watch this, if you watch your face, that smile, right? And
yeah,
it kind of immediately took you back, you know, just
yeah,
from the smile that you gave me. But had you stayed in that frame of mind, you
yeah.
couldn't be open and accept new things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, you know, that people should understand that, you know, you have to be open to new things, you know, but now you kind of I don't want to say shock the world, but like it was a good feeling for Chicago to hear that Elliott Cole is coming back home. You know, you
Yeah,
come back home to Chicago State.
for sure.
What prompted that? I mean, and knowing that they were recruiting you out of high school. It says a little bit of loyalty to me, but what prompted that?
Well, many people don't know. While at JUCO, I broke my foot. I had surgery, and I had 6 weeks of walking rehab, and I had 6 weeks of basketball rehab. At the time, some offers was still on the table, and then some, they kind of went elsewhere. But like you said, it was one, just loyalty, and then two, it was like it was like kind of like, especially D Rose is our guy, and it was like, man, I wouldn't want to do it nowhere else on the big stage than at the crib.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't no feeling like being at the crib.
Yeah.
And my only, I wouldn't say regret, but I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. Coming off the injury, I didn't have I wouldn't say I had, but some people would say I had an okay year at Chicago State, but it was up to my part. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't able to do what I do. You know what I mean? I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I'm still not trusting my body. Instead of going to finishing the ball, I'm trying to focus on where I'm landing and how I'm landing, getting jump shot happy. And it was just, I wasn't comfortable in my body yet. I was just coming off injury, and I came off kind of fast. I was in a walking boot. I was supposed to be there 6 weeks. I got out in 3.5 and rehabbed. So, like I said, I just wish I had a fresh body in Chicago State. It would have been a total different.
And again, this is, I'm learning so much. I'm here taking notes, man, like I do on every interview. But I'm learning so much, just more about the man, Elliott Cole, because I don't never brag, man. I don't never take credit for things. I have a lot of people, they always say, even on this show, like, Coach, man, you need to let more people know what you do, about your program, how you've been helping people. I think those that know me know.
So, yeah.
Right. I think that those know me know, and as you said, you met me in high school, but what a lot of people don't know, and I'm not even sure if you remember it or not, I'm pretty sure that you probably do, but it makes so much sense now that I didn't know that you was coming off the injury. I didn't even know that you had broke your foot. My guy, Omar, that was the, trainer there, all that. Like, I didn't know all of that, but what I did know was you wasn't the same person that I had heard about and that I saw. Yeah. And you were dealing with
a lot, man.
That confidence, right? So, and I'm going somewhere, and I want y'all to stay with me. Right. So you were dealing with this confidence thing. And this was around the, time where I was done coaching, had just started my business. And, I'm looking to, to talk to teams and talk to schools. But me and you talked a lot, Elliott, that year at Chicago State. And man, I don't know, you just like you talk about like the grace of God. Like, I don't know how we exchanged numbers. I don't even know how it happened, but and you would send me a text after practice, or, I would send, and it was crazy because you and Fred, right? Because Fred was a freshman. Yeah. And I would, and I would, send, you and text, because I was both kind of, we, talk about that transition, if the transition coming off the injury, which I didn't know Fred was a freshman at that particular time, and I would send both of y'all texts, and it was just off the strength. I'm like, man, these are two black males, that is good people, and they stuck right now. You know what I'm saying? But it makes more sense. So talk about some of the mental challenges, because and this is what I do with our program. And most people think that the game is played from the shoulders down. The game is really played from the neck up. And you've said with Pingator, you understand now what happened, right? From the neck up, you wasn't ready, right? You wasn't that person that you needed to be to play for Ping, right?
Exactly.
And we talking about outside of injury, right? Because injury, and then even with going to JUCO, you didn't become the person that you needed to be coming out of high school to go to Division I. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so even though the basketball was there, but that whole package, but majority of it is if it's you weren't dedicated academically, that's something that's, you know, maturity, whatever. But it all goes to mindset. Talk to us about that mindset. And, you know, again, I didn't know coming off that injury, but it makes so much sense because I remember you were frustrated. You was very, very frustrated at Chicago State. You did settle on a whole lot of jump shots. I always tell you, you know, look, we know you can shoot that thing, you know, but you know, I mean, and you had a chip on your shoulder anyway. You know, if you come off, you know, felt maybe you should have been playing more. Maybe you felt like you should have been playing more. It was a tough year for y'all too, you know, but you come in and you like, hey, hell, we down 20. I'm about to, you know, because I saw you one night and you gave about 17 in like 12 minutes. And then the coach took you out. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember calling Sean Pryor after the game. I was like, hey, man, like, talk to my boy tomorrow because, like, I don't know what's going on, but he may go in the trenches after this because I don't even know why he came out. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Coach Dildy had a plan. He had a system, you know, and, you know, he was, you know, Trey, you know, I love him to death.
That's
so,
my boy. That's
yeah, you know, it wasn't him. But as you said, you weren't ready. But talk to us about that mindset, especially coming off the injury.
Like I said, man, it was a battle year. Like, and when I say battle year, like, it was a point where, like, especially I'm coming home, so you got that on your back, and that's why I wanted that. But it was like it felt like I was playing against the other team, my coaching staff, and myself. And damn, that's a lot. It is like, and I was, and it's like I'm a bad wheel, like not even a bad wheel, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not in the.
You're not 100%.
Yeah. And it's like I'm trying to prove to the other team, like y'all ain't messing with me. I'm trying to prove to coach them, like I'm that guy, but I'm also trying to prove to myself I'm still that guy. You know what I'm saying? All in this, like, but it's like on the other end, I'm prevailing in school, I'm prevailing in my degree, I'm school doing great. But it was like, it was for the first time that was like basketball was the struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've never been in that situation because that was always the
outlet.
Yeah. And it was like this shit was just, excuse my language, it was just so frustrating. Like it's nice. I'm in the gym. They only got the, you know, because it's Chicago State, unfortunately, like sometimes they put the rims down. I'm just in the gym dribbling, just you know what I'm saying? Just trying to get it together. And it was just a tough year. Like, you know, just trying to show the world and show it, like, one, I'm back home. And it's like I'm trying to be Mr. 63. I'm trying to be that guy. But it's like I don't feel like that guy. And when you don't feel like it, they know it. You know what I'm saying? When you don't like, don't nobody believe in you but you. And when you don't believe in everything, how you know what I'm saying? It's not the same. And I felt it. And it was a friction. I was fighting it every day though. You know what I'm saying? In practice, I'm fighting it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, then I'm hard, like I told you, I'm one of my biggest critics. So now I'm hard on myself because I'm not coming through in those moments. And I'm not, you know what I mean? It was just very frustrating. And I leaned on my brother and Jug and my family. And it was like, even like some of my friends, my St. Joe's friends, like I needed that. You know, my powerhouse guys, like I needed that.
And oftentimes athletes know it's something going on, but they just don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't really put their finger on it. And as you said, which is a like great, you know, analogy, it was that friction. Like it just wasn't gonna come. It was, you know, you get it here and it, you know, it
had a magnet.
Just ain't right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You get going this way, and then you going it like it was just like. But the one thing I never thought about putting the ball down. Never, ever. It was just about like,
so
I got to figure out.
So that's my question. What did you do? How did you figure it out? Because so many athletes don't make it out that stuckness, right? If I make a word. Yeah. How did you exit? Like, you know, how did you take that the exit off that circular road?
Yeah, I talked to like a lot of people. Like I talked to Jug, you know, I was talking like Sharon Collins is one of my guys. Yeah. At the time I was talking to him, I was talking to my brother and my family. and Coach Jay Graham, that's my guy too. So I had a good support system, and it was just like, okay, I wanted to do it at home, but it's not going the way I wanted it to go.
Yeah.
What's the next? What's the best route at this point?
Yep.
And I was looking to transfer. I was talking to Illinois, talking to some other D1 schools, and but you know that D1 and D1 rule, you gotta sit down.
Gotta sit.
Now we back in St. Joe's again. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I knew this wasn't the time. I already had enough friction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, do I want to even deal with the sitting down and then only being a school student and now I got to, you know what I'm saying? Now I can't even practice. You know what I'm saying? So now do I want to go through that again at this point of my career? Because you got to think once you play college basketball, that clock is ticking, man.
It's ticking.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is the time to run into that bridge again. So I end up going to a top 25 in the country, D2.
Yeah.
And Coach Osborne, University of Charleston, West Virginia. Man, Coach Osborne was just like right version of Coach Judge, man. Like, I love that man to death. Like, he loved me, whether I played dumpster basketball or not. You know what I'm saying? He loved my brother. He loved my father. College coaches don't really ask you about your home life or detailedly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was to the point where I got my tooth knocked out and Coach Osborne let me stay at his house. I'm waking up, I'm eating breakfast with his kids. You know what I'm saying? It was just a different, it was just like JUCO, like with Coach Powell, like my three coaches who like impacted my life. Forget basketball. You know what I'm saying? It's Coach Jug, Coach Powell, and Coach Osborne. And it was like I ran into the same person at different times.
Different stages of your life. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And go ahead. No, go ahead.
And then just like being at University of Charleston, I was able to like I had got my body ready. So now I'm back that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gotta try to feel it. It's there.
It's
you know
natural.
What I'm saying?
Yep.
Man. So that was step one because I had that, like, man, you take that's my second year. Now that's the second year off the injury. So now you got your body back, you back going. And then also like being like West Virginia ain't the city. Ain't no city. It's a country, or you know what I'm saying? Mountains, and I was able to just be one of the guys. You know what I'm saying? I was able to like
breathe. Peace.
Play basketball. Yeah,
peace.
Man. Yeah.
You had peace. Yeah. You had peace. And so, I was talking about this earlier, man, and it's a lot of names in the transfer portal, and I ride on guys hard about being in the transfer portal, because I personally think that probably over 50% of those guys in the transfer portal just quit. Right. And they couldn't deal with adversity. So they quit and said, I'm not I
didn't want to do. I didn't want to be labeled as no.
Yeah. And can't deal with it. So I'm just not going to do it. However, it's really about finding the right place for you. So, again, with what we do, we're helping, athletes get recruited if they're the 5-star athletes or not. But it's finding the right place. And Gulf Coast, right, was the right place, and then you got hurt. Chicago State, what you thought based on what was available, you felt was the right place. But it's never going to be the right place if you're not in the right place. Does that make sense? Right. It'll never be, nothing will ever be the right place if you're not in the right place. And so you understood that you weren't in the right place, but something that you said was the way that you got over that was you went and basically talked to a coach, for lack of better words, right? Like, somebody that can talk to you about the decisions and kind of hold your hand, and your brother and Jug and say, look, Elliott, this is what we gonna do, right? This is what it's looking like. So they put it in front of you, right? They and you said awareness a couple times today. they put it in front of you. This is what we got, right?
Yeah.
So this is what we can do. And now it's up to you to make that decision. But they had to kind of say, like, you know, you need to start looking over here, because you can't get past this right now because you focus in here. And sometimes you have to change environments, right? Change is good. You know, it's a difference in running and quitting, you know, but a personal coach told me, my business coach, you know, said, man, the best thing that you can do when you find yourself in a hole is stop digging.
Yeah, look around. Man, look around.
You
like it was,
you know
times
what I'm
I'm just sitting, like, man.
Like just stop. Like,
back,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Don't go. So you had those coaches to say, this is what we're gonna do, you know, and then you know, you go down there to West Virginia, which is, you know, like, you know, a steel mill type of place, and you know, all those, you know, all of that, and you know, you had kind of the time of your life, almost like Powerhouse, you know, all over again, you know, and y'all went to the tournament. Am I correct?
Yeah. We did our thing. We lost in the championship to Fairmont, and they ended up winning second place.
Yep.
Well, no, they won the whole thing. They won the whole thing, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So, you know, and you figure, and now for those people that's listening, so part of the decision makers so Elliott was stuck. He went and found his coaches, those people in his life that can give him a plan that was proven to work if he worked the plan, because they had given him a plan prior with in the gym 3 times a day, the regimen. So he knew what he had to do and who he could trust. He went, got him a coach. They put the plan in front of him. If you go D1 to D1, you're going to have to sit. We're in that cycle all over again from high school. Or you can now go down a level to Division II, which the only difference in Division I and Division II is student attendance. If didn't nobody ever know, the difference with Division I and Division II is student attendance. And half of that student attendance is like really commuter students, like people that drive back and forth to school, you know, that live in the area, whatever, based on where the school is. So now you go Division II, where you can automatically play.
And we top 25 in the country.
And you top 25 in the country. And as a senior, it's harder to transfer or go somewhere, you know, like you got to be that person. If I only got like me, you know, when I was at Malcolm X and even at Truman, if I'm going to take a sophomore, you got to be a difference maker, right? I ain't about to waste a scholarship on you and I only got 1 year, right? So you got to learn the system. You got all of that. You know what I'm saying? So you went
I heard that a lot that year, because it was like I hadn't performed like Mr. 63. So it's like you kind of it's like Nip talked about, like you meeting with record labels, but your catalog don't match what you asking for sometimes.
It
know
don't.
what I'm saying? To certain,
what's your value? What's your value?
Exactly.
You know, and so, you know, you have a great year, man. You finish your college career. You know, I was definitely happy for you because, you know, and again, I didn't know, you know, I knew it was something going on, but I didn't know it was the injury. But you know, you got past that. You have a, you know, great college career. Now you get the opportunity, man, to do what every child wants to do, that picks up a basketball. At some point, they want to get paid to play. The NBA is not for everybody. Everybody gonna make it to the NBA.
I entered the draft. I worked out with I had to work out with Indiana Pacers. I was in Indianapolis. I graduated 2017. I entered the NBA draft. You know, we undrafted, which we knew. But I had some connections, talking to some teams via my agent. I went to Indianapolis for like a week. I was out there for like a week, and worked out with the Indiana Pacers. And I did my thing, like, you know what I mean. And it just didn't happen. You know, being a small guard, you know what I mean. It just didn't happen. But I was granted, like, via that, I got the opportunity to go play in Lithuania.
So now you playing chess because and you know, again, understanding things a little bit differently as an athlete, and understanding that you are the brand, right? Elliott Cole is the brand. So, okay, I'm gonna put my name in the draft. I might not get drafted, but if I can say that my name was in the draft, it helped my stock other places.
Man, what? Yes, it did.
And
yes, it
so,
did. Yeah.
so now you playing chess. So now you go over to Lithuania. So now how was life overseas, man? Everybody wants to go overseas. Talk to us about overseas.
Everybody gotta understand this is different levels. You know what I mean? And the journey is a journey. You know, everybody's journey different. You know.
Yep.
Lithuania, it was a great league. It's a great, and that's kind of what keeps me good. I started like some people they go to South America or Mexico, and some people don't understand. They don't understand the business of overseas basketball. And I had great people around me, like Sharon Collins was one I was talking to a lot in Lithuania because I'm like, man, they not letting me play my game. What they got me over here for? Like, you know what I'm saying? They want me to be Patrick Beverly. And like Sharon was just telling me, like, first and foremost, keep a job.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, keep a job. And then he told me when you go over there, wherever you go, be you off the jump. Because whatever you show them, that's what you are to them.
Yeah.
And then once you start doing you, they're gonna be like, oh, wait, what is this? And you like, I'm being me. They like, no, this ain't what you did the first 2 weeks of practice or first week practice. Now you have trash shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So be you.
Do
what you do.
We ain't paying for that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So be you. And like I said, I didn't have the greatest representation that got me with Lithuania, just who I signed with. So I ended up firing that agent and getting with a good agent, and I ended up going to Kosovo. And man, I had Kosovo my first year. I shot 40, 50, 90, 40 from the 3 feet from the field, 90 from the field line. I ended up averaging like first year was like 25 and 5. You know, second year, first year went to playoffs. That was their first time going to the playoffs. I had a game winner in the playoffs away, game 1. So like I got to experience and get that. Like I was able to be that guy on that level. You know what I'm saying? I hit the country's record was 13 threes in the game. I hit 12. My high in the pro was 40. I had a 40-point game and a 42-point game over there. And like the fans, man, like people don't understand, man. Like you got NBA love, I got NBA love over there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was kind of one of the first people in the league to really wear like a one-leg sleeve because, you know, just dealing with for me. And like you come to like you going to practice and you know little kids practice, they have little kid teams. And you see little kids, you know what I'm saying, rocking what you rocking, or you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was dope,
brand.
man. You got kids coming up to you like happy you up, and it was my first time, like, because in Lithuania, like I said, I wasn't the guy. You know what I'm saying? Or one of the guys. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm I'm playing with a good level now. So I came from Lithuania. I was in the LTL. It's the highest league in Lithuania. So now anywhere I go, I got that on my resume. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm over there, and everywhere you go, you walk out your apartment, people want pictures. I'm taking pictures with police officers holding their babies. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different. Like, one thing about overseas, like, you don't feel like a black person. You're just like a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get love. Like, you feel the difference from when you get back from the international airlines, and then when you walk back to the O'Hare, you get that
to get your bags.
Like, it's a different vibe. Like you know, nigga again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, and
you know what I'm saying?
You know, I mean, the unfortunate thing, soldiers talk about all the time, you know, but athletes that play overseas talk about that, which is why, and even like, you know, even when people go to college, why they stay in West Virginia or, you know, Panama City, because you get more love, and not just because of not just because of the character, the basketball player, but because they idolize you, right? They want to be and understanding some of that growth, some of that pain, you know. But I'm gonna go out on a limb to say, if you don't go to St. Joe's, it doesn't prepare you for Powerhouse. If you don't go to Powerhouse, it doesn't prepare you for junior college. If you don't go to junior college, it don't prepare you for Chicago State. Chicago State don't prepare you for Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon don't prepare you for Lithuania. Lithuania for Kosovo, because it's kind of so in basketball, the coach, the way that I used to say the carryover. Yep. Yep. You know,
Yeah.
the carryover.
Everything taught me, like, St. Joe's taught me accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Powerhouse taught me, you know what I'm saying, to one, just respect the game, and you got to do both. And when you do
Yep.
both, you know what I'm saying, now you grant a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
Now your second chance, you did what you're supposed to do. Now you're gonna have to go through a little adversity, and you gotta learn how to accept and go through that. Because
Mm-hmm.
everybody loves the book after it's finished. They love the things that inspire people, that get people shouting and the crowd going. But you don't understand that you got to go through them chapters. You still got to live those pages, and that's
Hey,
what makes the book. You know
I'm
what I'm
pretty
saying?
sure. I'm pretty sure what people see now, and that's why I asked about, how did the childhood, make you into the person that you are and everything. But
It is, man.
nobody will ever see them nights. And I'm again go out on the limb, but nobody saw those nights when you was by yourself, like crying,
Man,
trying to figure it out.
yeah,
You know what I'm
dog.
saying?
Yeah,
I don't want to quit because I ain't a quitter, but how do I get
yeah.
past this? You know what I mean? Those are tough, man. So one, man, before I go, because I know it's early where you at. I appreciate
It's
you,
7:30.
coming on here, man. You've you know blessed us just, with some great knowledge. But talk to us about, because I would be a bad host if I allowed you off of here without talking about what does being a point guard mean to Elliott Cole.
Being a point guard is no different
Let's
from being
let's let's help the point guards today.
yeah. Being a point guard is no different from being a good friend, a good brother, a good student. It's just being a leader, man. It's just you extension of the coach. Just like when you leave your house, you extension of your mama and your parents. You an example of what they raised. When you live out on the floor, you an example of what y'all go through every day in them practices. You an example on the principles that your coach is teaching. And you have to hold your peers accountable. And just because you lead, you gotta know how to follow. Like you gotta know, I know I can yell at this guy and I know he gonna get to it, but I know I gotta talk to him different. It's knowing personnel, just like you at work. You gotta interact with people different. But we all here for the same goal. It's gonna be friction, it's gonna be frustration. But you the head of the snake. You know what I'm saying? Because the coach can't shoot no dump shot, coach can't rebound no ball, and coach can't run no play. So you have to be the one. Like they gonna go as far as your poise is.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start getting out of whack, rest of them folks gonna get out of whack. Cause he
It's
doing
like
this. He got
dominoes.
the ball 90% of the time. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
just like dominoes. The point
Yeah,
guard go,
but yeah,
the rest of the team is
everything
falling.
out the window. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge, man. That's huge. Man. So I always had this segment of the show I like to call the hot seat, and I
Yeah.
just asked a few questions, man, just to get some
So
quick responses out you.
rapid fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Most memorable game for Elliott Cole.
Most memorable game you want high school or college in general?
Period. When that game that just sticks in your head, most memorable for you, and it don't have to be the most points, but that one
Yeah.
that you will always remember.
Always remember. I can give you three answers. So you only want one.
I only want one.
I'm gonna say the
All right, give
63
me
point.
two. Give me two.
I'm gonna say the 63-point game because that's what started it off. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
That's what put everybody on to Elliott Cole, and it showed that you know what I'm saying. It was real. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm only one of three people in the state of Illinois to ever score 60 plus in a game. You know what I'm saying? In a high school game. And then the second one, I would say, the game in Kosovo when I had 43, because I mean, it just it just showed myself, that I could do it on this level too. Not that I had any doubts, but as you put the pen to the paper,
Yeah.
and can't nobody ever take that from you.
Yeah.
And you won. And a culture of my mama can't point out Kosovo on the map, but there's a million people that love her baby. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. That's big. Best player you've ever played against.
Against high Damn, that's tough. Guard. Damn.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
All right, I'm gonna go high school wise. I'm gonna say, Jaleel. He's number one player in the country. He's number one player in the country at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And their team was a beast all across the board.
Okay, Okafor. Okay. Yep. Okay, so now who's the toughest person you've ever had to defend? Like who gave Elliott cold fist?
It wasn't even the points, but Sam Cassell Jr. and JUCO, man, he just knew how to, he just knew stuff.
Well, he got tricks from his daddy. He know the tricks.
Yeah.
Know the tricks.
It was like, man, he cheating. It's just and it was before it was popular on TV. He coming off the screen and he waiting. He ain't fully coming off. And as soon as you touch him, he going up again fast. You I ain't even really get to touch him yet. You know what I'm saying? It was just the knick-knack things. It was he ain't fast, he ain't quick, he ain't athletic, but damn, how he getting this done like this? Why is he giving us a problem like this? And it ain't you know what I mean? It was just frustrating, because he just knew things you didn't know.
Yep. And
big guy, he 6'4", 6'5".
And that goes to your point though, right? About just being able to, you can impact the game
without
other
putting the ball in the hole,
right, without other than scoring, without putting the ball in the hole, but you got to understand the game, in order to be able to do that. Man, okay, so I'm gonna ask you this question. Best teammate ever.
Best teammate ever. Damn, you gonna get me in trouble on this,
you know what? Toughest teammate ever. Let's change it a little bit. Toughest teammate ever.
Toughest teammate. I'll say my boy J. Cole from University of Charleston. Just because he had a kid in school.
Okay.
That's
different.
I was with him day in and day out. And that's a different responsibility.
Yep.
And he ain't missed a day. Just like I ain't missed a day. Every time I was in there, he was in there. You know what I mean? Whether it be 1 o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean, or you know what I mean, it still was able to, that's it. I couldn't have did that because I wasn't equipped. And I respected that to a different level. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's and it goes back to what you said at the beginning of the interview. If y'all just getting on, go back and watch from the start. But it goes back to what you were saying about you may not get a second chance, right? And so, everybody, and so by seeing him, you understood that your opportunity was different, even though y'all on the same team. It's a whole different type of opportunity.
I'm putting it in. You know what I'm saying?
Whole different.
I respected it more than any,
Whole different opportunity, man. My man Steve Alexander. What up, Steve? I've been missing you, man. Been missing you. Okay, Elliott. Before I let you go, man, Mr. 63. You've referred, to yourself, and a name that has been given to you. For those people that don't know, people talk about Mamba, mentality and things like that. Mr. 63, what does that mean to Elliott?
It just means, a collection of things. On every journey, you're going to collect something. You're going to collect some jewels. You're going to collect some lessons. And, that road, I learned a lot on the court, off the court. And being that figure, it just taught me to be that in life as well. The same way you prevail. And Mr. 63 is a guy who prevailed through whatever on the basketball court.
Absolutely.
And you have to be the same way in life. I got to be Mr. 63 every day. And that's before I get to the court. You know what I'm saying? That's just somebody who I embody. It was just when I step onto the court, that's my Superman. You know what I mean? That when I step into the phone booth,
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I'm Clark Kent always, the same way, So it's just holding yourself to account, being accountable the same way you are on the court, being it off the court, and understand that people looking at you like I said, like doing what I did at coach, but I still got kids texting me to this day, and I ain't played there in 2 years. Like, man, you one of the best players to ever come through here, or
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, we miss seeing you, or you being out here and being around.
Mm-hmm.
Or I
Mm-hmm.
got guys that play college basketball now, and they from Chicago, and they like, you know what I mean, keep being the, you know what I mean, keep inspired. You know what I'm saying? Understanding that you got people watching you.
And it's nothing more rewarding, man, to be authentic, to be you, and
Yeah,
that's,
I felt I've been me through it all. Like I ain't never
and
tried to
yeah,
be something I wasn't.
and to those little kids, want to be able to see somebody that don't look like them,
Yeah,
but to
I ain't 6'5", yeah.
and that's why, with your statue, to understand that, the little person, the little guy can make it, and the little guy can also be dominant. It ain't,
Yeah.
we always hear it ain't the size of the dog in the fight, size of the
Yeah.
fight in the dog. And you represent hope, right? So, and I'm, from me to you, you represent hope to those individuals that have been told no, that have been told wait, or you can't do it. I like all of my teams. Like, I've never had a big team. My teams have always been the smaller, faster. You can't beat what you can't catch, but more so, you can't out tough us either, because we ain't gonna stop. When you think, I can't quit, but I got to do something different. We not gonna stop. We gonna keep coming. We're going to adjust and keep coming. And in order to be successful in basketball or life, you have to be able to say, I'm going to adjust and I'm going to keep going, but you got to know that adjustment is what you did when you said, okay, let me stop digging and let me look around. Let me look up. That's the adjustment, rather than, okay, let me just, so as a point guard,
you can't keep beating the dead horse.
You can't keep beating the dead horse. And as a point guard's first responsibility is to look up the court, right? So you ain't just getting the ball and putting your head down and going. You got to see. In the same way, you in college, you from the Chi, or almost anybody in the inner city, you might, you may circle the block before you pull in the driveway, because you got to be aware of your surroundings. You want to know who watching you, so, all the principles that you learned in life and your mama telling you, you don't get them second chances, accountability, what you said earlier, understanding values, the values and morals that was instilled in you. Well, that goes to Lithuania with you. That goes to Kosovo. I love your mom for saying, like, you can't take Chicago everywhere with you. And I wish more people understood that. Allow for yourself to embody what other people and other things, other opportunities have for you. Because if we just, no, you can't block your own. If I man, I'm shy till I die, I'm gonna miss this opportunity over here in the Bahamas. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna be, you know what I'm saying, fully enjoy it. So that ain't the vibe over there, man. So
like you said, like Al Iverson taught me that, and it's like, as far as like, you know what I'm saying, just perseverance and his off the court stuff, but then on the court, and it's just like you said, the inspiration and hope is like I try to give that to whoever looking at me. Like if I inspire one kid that, you know what I mean, love what I do and the way I do it, hey man, like, that's a blessing in its own.
And it makes it that much more worth it, man. It makes it that much more worth it, man. In closing, I got my man Keen Walker on here as well. We got your boy Marquise Hatch. I believe Marquise, he the women coach at Triton now, right? I think.
Yeah, he went to school with my brother.
Yep, Keith. Okay, yep. We got Clem on, Big Man Smith. So I appreciate all y'all for checking us out. Man, share this as well. King Walker, man. If y'all don't, go check out this gentleman, man. Y'all check out this gentleman. Man, he said something last year. He was like, it's a difference in schooling and education. Right. And that totally blew, the same way with basketball. It's a difference in schooling and education. You said you were you were educated in basketball, but you was also a basketball student. I can teach you how to make a layup, right? But you were a student, so not only were you taught, but you studied and you knew what you were learning. You just wasn't learning the content, right? You was learning the context. And that's what my man King Walker always does, man. He got a great podcast too, doing some great things. But man, in closing, man, how can we make basketball better?
I think, man, especially in Chicago, just genuinely giving back. Like, it's a lot of big homies. Like, I don't like even our young guys who like I don't never call them little Burnett. They can attest to this. I don't call them little bro. Like, them my young killers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to little bro. Like, I never was I'm not trying to. Like, I think that was one thing with me is like I got my respect on the court and especially by Chicago because it didn't come off somebody else. Like, came off of me. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Don't give me no fish to eat. Teach me how to fish. You know what I'm saying? Like,
say it again. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't want to ride in your Lexus or your Ben. Teach me how to get one. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I try to empower. You know what I mean? My young killers, and because I'm gonna give you everything. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, I'm still playing the game, so it's like I got young guys they still work out with me, and I'm gonna give you. You gonna do what I do. I'm not gonna give you personal. No, I'm gonna give you what I do, and if you could take it farther than I can, that's what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? If you could take it farther and bigger than what I did, that's me paying it forward because I can't pay back Judge for them hours. I can't pay back my brother for them years, but I can give it to the next generation to take it on
and that's what you're supposed
do
to
what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah. And that's what you're supposed to do, but it takes a special person to do it because so many people really don't want to give up the game. And that was supposed to be our last question, but I'm gonna end with this, man, because my level of respect for you and I've always respected you. You've always been respectable to me, and we ain't we talk not frequently, right? Let me say that. But if
when we do
it's love, right? When you hit me, when I hit you, we've been trying to do this for a while now, but I'm saying all of that to say that I've always respected you, the person, the basketball player, has worked with you to help you through that time. But I saw you this summer and you had one of my former players in the gym, Pep, right?
Yeah, that's my boy.
And I was like, Elliott, get it, right? Because you was in the gym and so I'm gonna paint the picture for y'all that's listening. The gym couldn't have been no more than maybe a half a court setting in length, so small gym. On both ends of the court, they were working, and it was somebody there, I believe maybe your trainer, I'm not sure, but you was walking them through, as you said, everything that you do. But these were all professionals, y'all. Listen to what I'm saying. These weren't just people, man, I'm gonna come in. Like, these were people to get paid. And you put a couple clips out and I watched them and I was like, damn, they go Pep, and you were showing them like you did the move.
Boopie was there too.
Okay, yep. And so in the teaching profession, it's like I do, we do, you do, right? So I'm gonna do it, and then we're gonna do it together, and now you're gonna do it. And when you do it, that's mastery, right? I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna show you. We gonna do it, that's working together, but then when you do it, that's when and I was like, man, that's big, because again, Pep is ice cold, and tough, but I saw, maybe he wasn't familiar with that level of workout or that style, but you was walking him through it. And I was like, that's big, because that's what it's going to take, not only to help other Black people become better in basketball, but that's going to help us become better as people. You know what I'm saying? If you got a group of 7, 8 guys, and y'all understand that it takes a village to, to help with one another, so I thought that was big, man, and I take my hat off to you for that, salute you for that. Keep on giving back,
and P was coming off an injury though, so
yeah.
That's real killer though. Another real killer. Real killer.
Now, so you say in closing, this is the last thing I want you to talk about. I
Man,
promise.
we got time. We got time, man.
I got to go. No, you up, but I got to go. I got to go because I want my wife snapping. But
oh yeah, for sure.
You said, man, that you never really played a lot. You just worked out, and you talked about your team and your camp and all of that. I always talk about it, man. I have a lot of parents told me, Coach, man, you made so much sense. I had some critics talking about you don't know what you're talking about. I personally believe in the 75-25 rule. Again, y'all that haven't checked out my free case study video, go check that out at BeTheRightRecruit.com, right? BeTheRightRecruit.com. But I believe that you should work out 75 to 80% of the time and then play the other 20-25%. You mentioned that, you ain't really play a lot, in that 3-year stretch. You wasn't eligible, wasn't on the team, coach wasn't playing a lot, but you worked out. And that's why that, like Mr. 63, was birthed. Talk to us about that whole mindset of not always playing games, but being able to work out.
Like even now, like being a pro, like when I'm at home, like I don't really play a lot of pickup. I just rather work on my game. I think it enhances you when you put more, you getting more tools in your toolbox. And I use pickup is okay. Let me work on the things I've been working on. After I worked on them, that work in these situations and I'm consistent. I can do that at an efficient level. Let's go back and let's work on something else. Let's work on some other things. And then let's put these together. Because when it's time, I want to have a toolbox of some of the best tools, and I ain't got to worry about how they work. These straight. You know what I'm saying?
I can use for the job.
So so it's just about like, I use pickup and all that, and even when I was at St. John, I wasn't playing. Like I still had to work on my game. I'm not just gonna, you still gotta be ready. Like you said, you gotta be ready to prevent trying to get ready. So it's like when the lights came on, all I did was what I've been doing. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel like in some players they get, when it's like the game days and they feel I feel the butterflies too, but mine is like I'm just ready to go play. Like I'm ready.
Let's throw it up. Let's throw it up.
Yeah, it's not. I'm never nervous because how could you be nervous? It's like study for school. You ain't nervous taking no tests when you done studied the material.
And to your point, the nervousness come from not being confident, and not being confident come from not being prepared. So once you can be prepared, you can be confident. Now, once you be confident, now your whole performance, and you've seen it, man. You've seen dudes that ain't as athletically skilled, but they confident as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Tell who ain't working. You can tell who ain't been working.
Yeah. And you know, I think that's big, man. As your big bro Will Gates then popped on, Mr. St. Joe's, himself. But man, you definitely have to understand. I want athletes to really, really be able to understand, man, that there's a difference in just playing. It's good to play. You play in the club teams, AAU teams. That's great, but you got to be able to work on your game, and you have to be able to develop, right? The game, when we talk about the game is played from the neck up, not the shoulders down. That's the development. It ain't can I butter roll, can I jelly roll, can I shoot a three? It's your homework.
The games is your test. You only have so many tests throughout the school year. You know what I'm saying? But you got homework every day. That's the same way I put to my workouts.
Every day.
Like my workouts is my homework.
And I'm gonna leave y'all with this nugget here. And Will, man, I definitely gotta get you on the show, man. I want to get you and AG. I've been meaning to get AG on the show for a minute. He taps in from time to time, man. But I want to get y'all on because to tell some history, man. As we do with the show. But
big influence and big help for me too. Like
man,
Big Will, them
for a load of people, man. Talk about stories. To understand the story of being able to put it through. The crazy part, man, I was working out one of Will cousins, nephews, to stand in hundreds, man. Good kid. He's like a robotic person. Coach V, you might know Coach V, you know, that is at Governor State, but Coach V goes to church with his grandmother. And I worked the kid out all summer. He was like, man, William Gates is my cousin. I'm like, for real? But yeah, so yeah, Will, man, I'm gonna definitely reach out to you. But yeah, Elliott, man, it's all about that homework, you know, as you said, because if you don't, that homework don't even have to be you taking the basketball, dribbling in the empty Chicago State building because they've removed the portable rim, so now you can't shoot. But that homework is also sitting in front of the game watching Allen Iverson, like what you was doing when you was young, right? So to my athletes, it's not just about getting in the gym every day. Even if you're not in the gym, you got to watch basketball. You got to watch basketball from a player's perspective, watch it from a coach's perspective, and watch it from an official's perspective, because they see the game in three totally different ways. A player sees the game linear. A coach sees the game like objective. The referee sees the game in sections. And when you understand where a referee is positioned based on you knowing what they're looking at,
you know what you can get away with.
Now you can use that to your unfair advantage, you know, and man, those like all type of things, you know, that we, you know, teach athletes, man. We actually doing the Mamba mentality masterclass next week. So it's going to be 3 Fridays. The next 3 Fridays in February. It's 2408, right? Paying homage to Kobe, but walking athletes through that mentality, like everything that when you know, right? Sam Cassell Jr. knew what to get away with because he knew where everybody in the court was, and now you like, man, I can't stop this dude. He ain't fast. He
25. It's like, damn, he getting 10, but it's an 10. He winning by 10. You like, come on, man, like man, bro,
it's a loud 10, but he used the game. He used the rules to his unfair advantage. And so yeah, man, that's it, man. But L, man, from the bottom of my heart, man, you know I care about you, man. You know I love you.
Always.
Keep doing your thing. You know you've always been open to be coachable, even from me, and I ain't your coach. You know what I'm saying? And you know, for that, you know, I'll never take, you know, for granted. You know, Elliott was one of the first kids. Ever coach. And was a beast. And that's what we was talking about earlier. Will, you go back and watch it. You know, the toughness ain't never from here. You know what I'm saying? The toughness is this and this, and that's the difference maker. You know, when, you know, that adversity come. But yeah, man, your mom, your pops, your brother, Jug, you know, Will, like all those guys that you had in your life, man, has helped propel you to the person that you are, man. I'm happy for you. Keep killing them down in Georgia. You know, keep doing your thing. We gonna hook up tomorrow or you know, whatever, and go through. So because I don't think that you finished it. You scheduled an appointment, but go through. But we'll, you know, talk about it offline, you know, but I'm going to put you in tune with definitely, you know, I had Shank do it and, you know, Fabian, a few. That's what I've been doing, helping athletes be able to better, you know, communicate on the court and really, really know what their strengths are to be able to take them to another level. And hey, and closing, that's it. Mental game has always been strong, right? And, you know, Will, hey, so he coached you, but he can spot it out because he had to deal with it too. You know what I'm saying? If you understand the story, he had to deal with it. He overcame it and doing great. So that's how you can give back to people. So yeah, y'all, man, as we say in closing, all right, keep striving for the top, y'all, because it is crowded as hell at the bottom. All right. So until next time, this is Coach Carvel Bailey with Life and Basketball. I will put the link to where you can go grab the book, Understanding Life Through the Game of Basketball. Y'all be good. L, I'll talk to you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
All right.